Hey, crafty friends, it's Andrea from Price Guide DIY with First Friday Free for April 2024. I can't believe it's April already. So this is what I'm doing today. I had an idea in my head and then I went completely, not completely sideways, but sideways adjacent. So I wanted to do a blends technique and then I saw something on my desk which led me to, I wonder if it'll work. And it did. So let's get started. I've got our basic white card base. You're going to need some sort of a plasticky scrap that you can color on. I've got basic black for my frame. I'm using the circle punch. I've got this little chickadee here from Inspirational Sketches, which is just newly acquired. I've seen a few things made with it and I'm in love. And then we've got our card base, which I mentioned already, plus a scrap piece of paper that we're going to be punching on. But first, we're going to grab our vellum, we're going to grab our plastic sheet, and some hand sanitizer. So I'm just going to put a couple of blobs, yes, that's the technical measure, onto my piece of plastic. And I've got the dark blends in Pretty Peacock, Pumpkin Pie, Blackberry Bliss, and Night of Navy. So with the sponge daubers, I wanted to see if it was going to work, and it does. However, if you have a sponge dauber that's a little worse for the wear, you might want to grab that one, because I discovered that they don't really like hand sanitizer very much. This is a dollar store one, so it'll work just as well. And you just want to grab ink and get it inked up, and then we're just going to smush and plop our color and just keep going until you're out of color and you're happy with the result. And then I'm just going to kind of squeeze out some of the moisture there, and then we're just going to layer color after color. Oops. So Blackberry, Night of Navy is next. You can kind of see it's already starting to make my sponge dauber swell a little bit. And then we're just going to layer our colors. If you wanted to, you could have one color per sponge dauber. I'm probably just going to toss this one when we're done. All right. Sorry, spring allergies are in full force. I might be sniffling a little bit today. Okay, Blackberry Bliss. Looking a little bit reddish today, but it's fine. And then if you want maximum full coverage, you can do that. If you just kind of want little bits and pieces poking out like I did on our sample, we can do that as well. Now the deeper, darker colors I found did work a little bit better, just because, oh, I got a little bit on my work surface, that's all right. Just because the lighter ones tend to, or at least seem to kind of disappear. All right, so our last color that we're gonna add is our Pumpkin Pie. I've got a Just Desserts class coming up, I think in June. I can't wait for that one. It's going to be so much fun. We're using all of the dessert themed colors to make masculine cards. And this month in April, I've also got a Blends Basics class, which will be available online only. I'm planning to get it up onto my website probably tomorrow, Friday. I'm not sure. April's a crazy month here. And if you were on my Facebook page at all this week, you may have seen a guest appearance by Miss Bailey Boo. She's in my craft room with me again today. So I don't know what kind of helpful crafty tips she's going to be coming up with. But if she jumps up, well, it'll happen. All right, so we've got all of our dots done. We are going to just set this aside and let it dry. Get rid of our scrap. I've got a bit of a blend blob on my desk. I'm just going to wipe it off with rubbing alcohol later. So put our sample off to the side. It only takes a few minutes for it to dry. If you wanted to expedite the process, you could totally do that with your heat tool. Just going to set that over there. What are we going to do next? We're going to do our bird. All right. And I'm going to stamp it in Memento. Actually, yeah, we're going to stamp it in Memento. I was thinking just briefly that I was going to do gray, but I'm kind of feeling the black today. So get it inked up. I like doing ink onto my stamp instead of stamp into the ink pad because I find that it's a little bit easier for me to get a good impression. And it also helps me not really get a halo. I am fussy cutting, so if I do get a halo, it wasn't going to be the end of the world. And then we're just going to grab our scissors and fussy cut our little bird out. And as usual, when we're fussy cutting, we are moving the paper, not the scissors, because it's easier to see where you're going if you're moving your scissors. It's also a little bit easier when you have a smaller area to work with. Now, if you wanted to color this with your blends, you could. I'm just going... Okay, thankfully I didn't have ink on my thumb. I thought I did for a second. I'm just going to leave him in black and white. Not sure why I think it's a him, but whatever. I love this stamp set, and I'm so glad that it's carrying over. Chickadees are one of my favorite birds, and we have oodles and oodles of them in our yard. So that was a quick and easy little job to get cut out. Dimensional back on my desk. What a surprise. All right. So I wanted to use my dies, but then I had an idea. I want to use a punch to create a frame. I wasn't sure if it was possible, but it is. So I'm going to use the, what is this, 2 3/8 inch circle punch. And I'm just going to randomly punch and kind of aim for center here on this, which is, you know, our usual MO here. So I'm going down as far as the punch will go, which will ensure that it's going to be even-ish on both sides. And then about there. So you can leave it like that if you wanted to, but I'm going to kind of get rid of these little like owl forehead dips, and I'm just going to cut with my punch and create our window, which we're going to use for our vellum piece. Now, it appears to be dry, so I'm going to move these guys out of the way. And then we're just going to do, because with vellum too, it's not easy to apply adhesive to it because any adhesive will show right through. Okay, and then there's a right side and a wrong side. So the right side is the more vivid. It's a little bit duller on the back. So we're going to put this, and it is the same size as the cardstock. So you want to be careful to line it up exact. If you don't, you can always trim it off with scissors. So we've got the front of our card now, and then we're just going to adhere it onto our cardstock. We're going to do around where the black is hiding, because again, we don't want our adhesive to show through. You could also put a little bit of adhesive on the side. That's a good thing that I'm putting something over top of that. You could also put a little bit of adhesive behind where our little bird is going to sit. All right, so there's our card. We're going to stick our little bird. I think he belongs down in the corner. I'm going to stick him on with some dimensionals. I think 3 should do. And what are we going to do for the sentiment? I think I'm going to use Grateful for You. That seems like it would be a good one. And what are we going to... Oh. No. I was going to use the curved label punch, but that's gonna take a little bit too much brain power. So peel our paper off the back of our stamp. Maybe. Actually, I think I'm just going to do a strip, but I'm going to do a strip of black behind it. Am I going to do black? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like it needs a pop of color. Oh, I thought I was grabbing Grateful for You. One of the hazards of not putting the label on the sticker just as you're using it. Or putting the sticker on the stamp when you're using it. And I'm just going to do a strip here. Inch by 2.5. 2.5 works. When you're using your paper trimmer, if you see something in the cutting gutter, you're going to cut it off. So I always like to double check and make sure. So I'm going to make my black piece 2 3/4 by, oh, I feel like that's kind of big, but then I'll cut that off. 2 3/4 by 1 1/4 inches. 1 1/4. Two 3/4. Yeah, I like that. And oh, actually, I'm going to add another layer. So 1 inch and 1/8. And 2 and, oh, this is math now, 5/8. All right, I just happened to see that in my scrap bin. Hopefully my measuring is accurate. Perfect. All right, and then we're just gonna move everybody off to the side, grab our adhesive, and layer up. I usually do 1/4 inch for my layers, but sometimes 1/8 inch is really nice too. It gives you just enough of a peak so that you can pull out another color of your design and just add a little bit more interest. It's actually looking a little bit Halloween-y, but it's fine. Rhinestones, take your pick. I've got a little bit of an ink splotch under the Y, so I'm just going to add one there. One there. And I usually do odd numbers, but I couldn't leave just one on my package. Let's see. Don't have purple in this design, but I can use, maybe I'll do one of the fine sparkle gems. Actually, one looks weird. I'll add a couple. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. And I don't like where that one's placed. thought I had my stylus tip on here, but I don't. So I'm just gonna shift it over there. Oh, that's still kind of too close. Come on, there we go. There, that looks a little bit less planned and a little bit more scattered. Grab our dimensionals and we're gonna stick this guy back on the back. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Every single time a new video is notified, or posted, you'll be notified. All right, let's stick this guy down. You can put your sentiment somewhere where you don't particularly love what's going on. I actually kind of really like all of this background, but it's a little bit lighter there. So I'm just going to tuck it under the bird here on an angle. And there's our card finished. So we did some dabbing with the blends. We've got our punch window cut, a little bit of fussy cutting. We did a little bit of everything today. So if you have any questions or comments, please pop them down below. I always check and usually respond. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you in May for the next First Friday Free. See you soon.